Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Fabled Talks Podcast. This is me, AB, and my co host.
I have to introduce again. Anyway, we are joined today by our colleague and also a very good friend, and we have Mr. Kalyan. Thank you for taking time, and I know you are very
Joining us.
busy. I know you have
You're
been
very
taking
in
calls.
demand.
Oh yeah, thank you for having
But-
me here.
Yeah. So, Kalyan is if you have been following eastmojo.com, I'm sure you have seen his face, like in most of the video. And also you have seen recently all those incident that's been happening in Manipur. I'm sure you have seen his face. He has been there in the ground. And today we have specifically invited him so that we can, talk about what actually happened. We have seen short video, long video and all those, but we also wanted to hear
Yeah.
from the
From the source,
from the,
from the
man,
horse's
from
mouth.
yeah. So that's how we are here today. And today I think we'll be discussing
Yes.
more that and also lots of other things as well. So before we start, first, Kalyan, please introduce yourself. I mean, we don't have to introduce much, but tell us like how long you have been doing this journalism, how long you have been in this
Well,
field.
it's just over a decade. I think. Yeah, I started back in 2012 with a. I was with a newspaper back then, and then changed a couple of organizations. I joined another newspaper after that around 2014, and then stayed quite a bit. I mean, stayed a long time. That was a weekly tabloid, and then joined a news channel. And in 2018, I've been with East Mojo since 2018,
Okay.
May, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's.
So how has the
like-
journey been so far? I mean, is it
Yeah, it went like a flash. I mean, 10 years is nothing if I look back. I feel kind of old now. I mean, having spending 10 years, when you realize it hits you like hard.
also I think it's about like you when you initially joined, like it feels for me also like I've been in this for just 5 years, but
Mhm.
still I feel that when you join, you are among the like young, you're very young, you're among the youngest among the team, and then suddenly there are more young people joining, and then you see okay,
Exactly.
now that you are growing
Yeah.
old, you just look back and you
My
have
time
more
has passed.
younger people than older people.
Yeah, in
So-
fact, when you joined, you were the youngest one in the team,
Yeah.
and now like there are
There
so
are
many young people.
Yeah, so many young people. That's what I feel like.
I don't know. I look at glass half full.
Yeah,
So I'll say that it's like getting more mature with time. That's all, not getting older. So I'm getting matured.
and also with experience, you have
Exactly,
yes.
a lot of
you become
experience.
more wise, I guess.
Yes, I'll probably start writing books.
Oh my God.
Okay, so before like he writes all his journal and all his experiences in the book, we just want to discuss one chapter of the book that he's going to be writing about.
An exclusive chapter just for us.
Yeah. So we are going to talk a little bit about the Manipur incident. Just like I have said before, he was there. So Kalyan, can you just guide us through, like take us through what actually happened, why you were there like during the incident, and yeah, please share with us. We'd
So
love
yeah,
to hear.
like you rightly mentioned, that is like one of the biggest chapters I think I'll ever have. I mean, also one of the most memorable experiences. And so yeah, basically we reached Churachandpur on 3rd of May. And we had gone there with a completely different objective because we have been getting reports of incidents of violence taking place in pockets, and there was a curfew for some time. But then things had started getting back to normal.
Okay.
So also there was a rally on 3rd of May. So we reached Imphal on 2nd of May. From there we directly went to Churachandpur,
Mhm.
and on the way everything was normal. So there was no hint of any kind of you cannot like figure out that there might be things might go wrong from the next day onwards.
Mm.
So we then after reaching the hotel, at Churachandpur. We went out for a walk. Me and my colleague Mukud Medhi, and but village. But northeast life begins early, ends
Yeah.
early. So
Especially in the hills. And
yeah, exactly. So Churachandpur is the foothills, and shops had started. There was people had started closing down the shops at around 6 p.m.
Mm.
Till 7 p.m. everything was closed, and we came back to a hotel, and we decided that we'll just relax for the night and start early next day, because the rally was scheduled to begin from around 11 a.m. So, but we reached the football ground, the Churachandpur football ground. That's like the popular spot, one of the I think one of the biggest grounds in Churachandpur.
Mm.
So we reached there at around 9:30 a.m. and I started making few phone calls to some of the locals, some of the friends who were there, and we started interacting with the local journalists there, and just to trying to understand about the issues, the whole the various topics they were talking about. The ST status demand, the forest eviction drive that was carried out earlier, and that's all. And after that, people started coming in, and with it by 11, I think. Looks we what we could see was only in the football ground. So there we could see around, probably I can just assume, so around 10,000 people had gathered there.
Okay.
And as people were, there were slogans being chanted, and speeches being delivered by various groups. So we, in the meantime, we also started interacting with other people, started doing interviews with various, leaders of organizations, civil society groups that had come there, and people were kept coming in by even then. I think by 12 they started moving out of the ground, and the rally was supposed to take place from the football ground, and it was supposed to end at the mini secretariat, which is also the DC's office. They would submit a memorandum to the deputy commissioner appealing for the revocation of the whatever proceedings had taken place regarding the estate status demand, to revoke and reconsider the whole process. And yeah, by 12 we moved out of the ground, and then we saw we could see, in Hindi they said that jahan tak dekho hamari zameen hai. So it was similar to that. Like, as far as I could see, there were people, the roads were filled with people.
Okay.
Dressed in black. Everyone was, almost all of them were holding placards. And a lot of people had gathered on the rooftops and the balconies to, get a glimpse of the whole rally.
Mm.
I think there were close to 50,000 people gathered during the rally. So we started, from almost the tail, and then we boarded a vehicle of one of the organizers that was from the media people. So we hopped onto a vehicle, and then we started moving forward. And at one point of time, I decided,
So you guys were heading
towards the DC's office,
Okay,
Deputy
okay, so,
Commissioner's
yeah.
office. But after a point, I thought of, like, let's do a walk through there, and we got off the vehicle
Mm.
and started. I did a P2C. We call it piece to camera in journalism terms.
Mm.
So I did a PTC there, and on the streets, and people were like surpassing us. And then we met a local reporter there, who then assisted us, asked us if we want to go to the deputy commissioner's office directly. He knows like other roads, in the arterial roads,
Mhm.
and let's wait there for everyone to come down.
Mm.
So he took us on his vehicle, and dropped us till the deputy commissioner's office. And we waited there for about an hour, and people were still coming in. The rally was not getting over anytime, and like we were there for about an hour. And after that, all the association members from different associations, they submitted memorandums to the deputy commissioner, and yeah, that was all. That is when the rally ended. But I think it was around 2:30. So when we the local reporters, they started getting calls that some kind of violence had taken place towards Bishnupur,
Okay.
especially the border areas of
Okay.
Bishnupur, that a beat office was burned down,
Mm-hmm.
forest beat office, and gunshots were fired at some
Mhm.
place. Tear gas shells were also fired. But we could not confirm anything since these were like phone calls and WhatsApp forwards. So we decided not to report any of this because none of this was confirmed reports.
Mm-hmm.
And after a point of time, so we started getting reports. Also got a video of the Centenary Gate. Attempts of were being made by miscreants to burn down the Centenary Gate. Although it could not have been burned down because it's a concrete structure and
Oh,
it's a big structure. But there were attempts made. It seemed like they had tried to set it on fire. Uh, till then, we thought that since people had gone there and police had gone there, so situation will get back to normal
Mhm.
and police will deal with it. Let them do their job first. If they get hold of the miscreants and whoever set fire, try to set it on fire. If they nab them, I think that should be the end of it. We decided not to report it because again it could have any kind of if you report any kind of violence, things might escalate because it's a sensitive issue, and also a lot of people had gathered there. Control you can control one or two people, but you cannot control a mob. So we decided to go back to our hotel and just send all the interviews that we had done to the desk.
Okay.
And just let's wait and things to calm down. So yes, after that we also went on to do a few more interviews. So we had spoken to the Cookie Students Organization leaders and also several elders, and they had agreed to do interviews with us.
Mm.
So we went on to finish those interviews and then went back to our hotel. I started uploading the videos, and that is when I start getting calls that there has been like the situation escalated further in the border areas of Churachandpur and Bishnupur. So I asked Mukunda.
So it was around what time?
The first call I get was around 6 p.m.
6 p.m. in the
Yeah. So at around 6:30, I asked Mukunda, I think we should head out and let's take a look what happened.
Mm.
If possible, maybe we can do a ground report of at least try to provide the ground, the details of what had happened. And since there were also reports doing rounds that things might get communal by then, so we
Mhm.
decided if we go to the ground and report from the spot, maybe people will understand that there are miscreants involved, not people from any particular community.
Mm.
And so we took out we had hired a vehicle from Imphal with a very young driver. In fact, that's an interesting story altogether. I'll
Okay.
say that in a later part of this
Okay.
podcast. So we took our vehicle and started going towards Churachandpur. Bishnupur. After traveling for around 45 minutes, we see smoke emitting from a huge from a far distance, but there was a lot of smoke.
Okay.
As we started getting closer, we could see vehicles being burned down. There were houses burned down, and there were a lot of people on the street with sticks, rods,
Okay.
and so it was a bit scary. But we got off the vehicle and spoke to a few people to confirm what has happened. So they said that a village has been burned down.
Okay.
It was around a couple more kilometers. We had to go a few more kilometers to reach the village.
Okay.
So we decided to go to the village, and after reaching there, we saw that I think there were like tens of. What we saw was just by the roadside.
Uh-huh.
We could not go further inside the village because everything was burned down,
Yeah.
and cylinders were going off.
Yeah.
So that was scary and also very risky, since there was no police official involved. We could not see any police official or anyone from the fire department. So all the houses were burning, and so we decided to report from there
Yeah.
and saying that miscreants had burned down the houses.
Mm.
We had no details of who were the people involved in this.
And whose village was that? Like,
That was a Bangla village. The name of the village was Bangla village. I
Okay,
think,
Bangla.
according to the locals there, it was a Meitei village,
Okay.
Okay.
and some miscreants had burned them down. But
Mhm.
there were no people in the villages
Okay.
when the fire took place.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we could not confirm any deaths and or any injuries, and since officials were nowhere to be seen
Mhm.
by then, and there were also several vehicles burned down, trucks, shops as well, marketplaces. In fact,
Mhm.
it was like substantially bigger village. So the whole village was burned down, and then we decided to come back to a hotel, and we thought that this story should be published because we kept on repeating that the village was burned down by miscreants,
Hmm.
not by people from any particular community. So this had to go out as soon as possible. We reached our hotel and tried to get the video out as early as possible, so that it will help calm the situation down, and people should know from the mainstream media and also in the mainland, they should know what the situation is, the gravity of the situation.
Mhm.
We came back to a hotel, but while coming back, we saw the road that we took. I don't remember the exact name of the road. It's in the Lamka town, basically.
Mhm.
So when we had left from our hotels, it was normal. There were only people on the roadside. That's all. But while coming back, the road was blocked in several places.
Okay.
We were allowed to pass by because we were from the media. A lot of
Mhm.
people could recognize East Mojo as well, so they allowed us to get back to our hotel, and we were just hoping that police will turn up, security forces will eventually turn up, and they will take care of the
Calm the
situation.
situation.
Yeah, the situation will calm down after a point. But then we kept hearing explosions. I mean, there were cylinders going off
Mhm.
almost whole night,
Okay.
and we could see the village, smoke emitting from some of the localities
Mhm.
from our hotel room.
Okay.
But since we had no security, there was no security official involved,
Mhm.
so we decided not to step out because
Mm.
it would have put everyone at risk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, the next day we thought,
So were you able to get good sleep? I mean, after all these things
Uh,
that's happening around,
uh,
and you
Hearing
can hear
noises
the
whole
cylinder
night,
burning.
yeah.
So how many hours did you get sleep that night?
so I think we stayed up till around 2.
Okay.
But I don't know, it happens like whenever we go out for special assignments, uh, we barely sleep for like 6 to 7 hours.
Mhm.
So I think we slept at around 2 2:33 maybe,
Mm.
and we were up by 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think me and Mukuda decided that we should move out early and let's take a look at the villages that were burned down, if
Mhm.
maybe get a better understanding of what had happened, since it's daytime. So I don't think anything could get go wrong. So we first we called our friends there. We had a few locals who helped us a lot uh, during our stay there.
Mhm.
So we asked them to come down to our hotel and help us reach the location, because at finding the locations is also in an unknown place.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
the first time I had gone to Churachandpur. So he took us to the district hospital. He said that there are a lot of injured people were admitted, and a few people had also died.
Mhm.
So I think we should get we thought that that is where some one place where we can get official reports and official details what had happened and the gravity of the situation.
Mhm.
So there, I think while speaking to one of the doctors, he said that around 80 people were brought in the previous night, and 3 people had died, and all of them had died because of gunshot wounds.
Okay.
So one of them was hit in the stomach. 2 of them were hit in the stomach, I believe, and I don't remember where the third person was hit. There was also another person who was shot in the head, but the bullet remained inside, but he was fine. He was okay because there was not enough space in the hospital. So the doctor they could not, conduct a surgery. The OT was fully packed. So the doctor asked him to go back home and come back late, maybe come back
Oh.
later for the surgery.
Oh my
The
God.
bullet was still there. We met his mother, but she was not very comfortable speaking speaking to us, giving us all the details. So I think so we did not pursue her anymore.
Okay.
So there we got the official data. I personally went through the register where the people were brought in, and most of them were brought in from the border areas of Churachandpur and Bishnupur.
Okay. That's where I think both the communities live mixed.
Exactly, yeah. So basically, Bishnupur is mostly the most majority of the population is Meitei,
Yeah.
but there are also several villages of the Kuki tribe.
Mhm.
Towards from Churachandpur onwards, which is the foothill. So it's most of the population is made from the Meitei, Zomi, and also Chin community,
Mhm.
and there are also pockets of Meitei people living in Churachandpur as well. So yes, after the from the district hospital, we went to one of the localities that was burned down.
Mhm.
That was a Meitei locality as well, but we were not allowed to take videos. We were being take videos or do anything there, but we somehow managed to convince the locals there.
Okay. So was it stopped by security forces or
No, there was no security forces
locals?
involved. Yes,
Okay.
local. So the locals were not comfortable,
Okay.
sharing all that, and also because it was a Meitei community Meitei locality
Okay.
that was burned down.
Uh-huh.
But luckily, all the people had moved out before, and there were I believe, no injuries took place.
Mhm.
Again, what we heard from the locals there was, all these were hearsay. So if one was saying there were gunshots fired, another was saying that petrol bombs were hurled.
Mhm.
So we could not confirm any of that because we did not see them any,
Yeah.
or there was no,
No evidence.
official to
Yeah. Also.
confirm all those reports.
Yeah.
So we just took visuals of the houses that were burned down, and that's all. After that, we moved out of the hospital, and by the time we came back on the road, so yes, I think by that time mobile internet was also shut down. So in order to upload anything, upload any report, we had to come back to a hotel because they had a broadband connection. So we were, luckily we were lucky enough to get Wi-Fi connection there. So we had to come back to a hotel and upload all the videos and provide all the details. So we came back to a hotel, uploaded the videos. I spoke to Amit and told him about whatever happened. I think Amit told me that we were the first ones to confirm any deaths. And since we have visuals of the hospital and everything, so yes, that report also was published. After about an hour, a couple of hours, I think, we again start getting reports that there are clashes taking place between security officials and the public, because by then us whatever team of Assam Rifles and army was there, they were trying to evacuate people from other communities and take them to the mini secretariat, which was used as a shelter camp. So when we were at the district hospital, several nurses were evacuated, and also people from other localities were also taken to the mini secretariat. So we heard that there was a standoff taking place between security forces and some of the locals protesting there. So again, me and Mukunda, we decided that we should go there, and a friend of us helped us, reach the spot. There we noticed that the trucks that were used to evacuate the people were stationed near the police station, the Churachandpur police station, and a human chain was formed, especially women.
Okay.
And I think on the other side there was a mob who had burned down tires and a lot of other things as well. So the my friend who was with us, he told us that the Kuki women who had formed a human chain were protecting people from the Meitei community, and they were not allowing the mob to approach them. And in Manipur, I mean, in fact, people from Northeast know that Manipur women play a very important role
Yeah.
in Manipur, and especially when it comes to social issues.
Mm.
So no one could dare touch the woman
Oh.
there. So the woman had formed a human chain, and they were protecting the people from the Meitei community. And I think this is worth a story that
Yeah.
should. I mean, this is one story that should go out. And throughout our stay, our focus was to at least try and calm the situation down.
Mm.
The situation should not escalate. We, in fact, refrained from publishing any kind of news that would trigger violence or
I
any
think-
kind
I
of
think,
violence.
Even now
Hmm.
we hardly like use communal angle.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
we don't do clickbait and stuff.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
know that because most of our story has been very neutral.
Mhm.
What you see is what you get. Kind
Yes.
of. You're right.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
everything is there in the video and
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
report as well.
so yes, so I think that was one story that has to go out, and
Yeah.
people should know that people from both the communities are together.
Yeah.
Although violence had taken place, but that was maybe because it took place because of the heat of the moment, or uh, done by miscreants.
Mm.
Not everyone
Yeah.
from either of the community means any harm to people
Yeah.
from the other community.
Yeah.
So that was my focus then, I think. And then we tried to take videos there, but again there was a mob involved, so they kind of got angry and started approaching towards us.
Okay.
But the local who was there with us, he calmed the mob down and told them that we are
Okay.
from the media and we were not taking videos or showing anything negative.
Ah,
We are trying to do positive stories here,
yeah.
even in violent situations. So
Yes.
I think then they allowed us to leave. So we came back to the hotel and uploaded stories. And yes, and I think that was it for the till that day. By till that evening, I think there were no security forces. The police, I mean, whatever number they were in, I mean, they were outnumbered, obviously,
Mhm.
and they were cornered at the police station.
Okay.
So, and by evening, I think we started getting reports that army has been deployed and they will be reaching Churachandpur very soon, and broadband connection has also been snapped off. So we like before we lose the Wi-Fi connectivity, I tried to upload everything that I had.
Yeah.
I think that's when we saw that video as well.
Yes,
The woman
from
from
Yeah.
human chain as
Mhm.
well. No, so I think that was a story. Like after earlier, like we have been seeing all these videos of people burning.
Mhm.
You have been reporting from the ground with houses burning in the background and
Mhm.
all the stuff. But when we saw that video, it was like a moment of hope. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
they are good
It
people
was-
as well.
Yeah.
So it's just normal people. We just want, we just live our life. Like we just want
Exactly.
peace,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
don't want to disturb. Don't disturb us. We just want go on our way. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
normal people
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
Churachandpur was also
True,
doing.
true.
That of course there will be some miscreants and
Yeah. Taking
bad
advantage
people.
of the situation. Yeah.
I'm sure there are people
Obviously.
like that. But because I'm telling because I have friends in Churachandpur, I have friends in Imphal, so I
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
both.
Hmm.
Because I cannot support any because they are my friends.
Yeah.
And they are like any other normal people. They also want peace.
Mm.
They don't have
Exactly.
anything, like for their friends because they have friends in Churachandpur
Yeah.
as well. Like us, we just want peace. Anyway, you continue with your
Yeah.
that story because I'm sure there is more good stories
Yes,
coming
yes,
because I
yes,
can
yes.
feel that.
Yeah.
So I think we were done for the day. There was nothing we could do because the broadband connection by I think 8 p.m. The broadband connection was also cut off, and although we kept you kept hearing gunshots and cylinders going off. There were more localities that were burned down that night. But even then, since we had reports that army was deployed and they will reach Churachandpur very soon,
Mhm.
so we were hopeful that situation may come back to normal. I think we again the next morning we woke up at around by 6 we were up
Okay.
and ready, and
So this is the third day.
yeah, on
Okay.
third day, and yeah, and from I think between 7 to 8 a.m. The army had started their patrol.
So were you getting
patrolling.
news from Imphal as well that the situation?
I was getting a lot of phone calls,
Okay.
but none of them were confirmed reports. But I was also getting a lot of phone calls, asking me about the situation in Churachandpur.
Okay.
One of the most bizarre reports that a lot of people asked me about, that women being gang raped and children's head being chopped off in Churachandpur. And I was like, are you crazy? That's not, no, that's not the intensity of violence taking place. Yes, of course, houses were burned down, people have been injured, gunshots have been fired, but there was no rape at all. And no children had died, because we had gone to the hospital. We had seen the people who were admitted there. There were 2 in serious condition in the ICU, 2 people in the ICU, and 3 had died. That was the confirmed report.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I probably repeated the same thing around 6 to 7 times to different people.
Okay.
Calling me from Imphal
Oh, okay.
and other states as well. And so yeah, that was one of the bizarre things that happened during our stay. So yes, on day 3, between 7 to 8 a.m., I think the army patrolling had already started. So they were firing blanks. There was there was a long, huge convoy of army. So the one in the front would fire blanks.
So people were on the streets.
No, there was no one on the streets. It was complete. In fact, the army was not allowing anyone, to be on the balconies or the rooftops as well.
Okay.
So everyone was asked to, since a curfew was imposed, so everyone was asked to stay indoors.
Mm-hmm.
So the army would fire blanks, just as these were warning shots basically,
Okay.
so that no one would come out on the streets. And so I think by the first patrolling went on till 10 a.m.
Okay.
So we saw them going up the street and then coming down again. And then we thought that maybe we should, tag along with the army and try to understand the situation on the ground, what the streets look like on day 3. So we called, Assam Rifles officials, and they agree, and they asked us to visit the mini secretariat, go down to mini secretariat, and also the camp was there, the shelter camps. There were a lot of people in the camps.
Okay.
So we decided, so that's like we got 2 stories there. One, we will be able to tag along with the army, get a first hand report of what's happening on the streets, and also how the people of the Meitei community are living in the camps. They were not very comfortable at all, because there was no beds. They had to cook their own food. Only thing that they were provided with was rice and dal. That's all. So the men, and also there was a lack of drinking water. So the small trucks would come in with drinking water. The people would fill their bottles, and they were preparing their own food. So that's it. Nothing else. So they were stuck there for 2 days now. Some of them, and the army was bringing in more people, evacuating them from different pockets. So when we were there at the camp, I think one convoy had arrived, and before that, the first convoy had already done the round in the morning. So that the second convoy had arrived with more people, around 100 people, more people. So in the camp, I think when we were there were around 4,000 people in 3 different buildings. 10 to 15 people, cramped up in one room. Children, elder people, women, all of them, in the same room. There was also an elderly woman who had died in one in the camp, and was there in one of the rooms because of suffocation. She suffered a heart attack, and her body was there for she died the previous afternoon. Her body was there the whole night, and we were there by 11 a.m. I think between 11 and 12 a.m. 12 p.m. and the body was still there.
Okay.
It could not be removed because the army was every security forces were cornered by then. So
Mm.
who would do the rituals? What could be done? So that was the dilemma for the army and the people there. So yeah, that's all. And we spoke to the people there, of the Meitei community, and tried to show the kind of condition they were living in. Even them then, they were appealing for peace. They said that their houses have been burned down, but their first, uh, priority is to be safe.
Yeah.
And situation should get back to normal.
Mm.
So even their message was calling for peace,
Yeah.
because it's the common people who get affected the
Yeah.
most.
Exactly.
People, leaders, they would comfortably live in their
Yeah.
air conditioned rooms, travel in
Yeah.
their air conditioned cars, and nothing would happen to them. It's the common
Mm.
people who'll get hurt the most, in fact. So we spoke to a lot of people in the camp, and then the army, the third convoy was about to. By the way, in fact, when we were there, more security forces were coming in. I think another convoy of around 15 trucks had reached from Assam.
Mm.
And then the third convoy was about to move out. So the army officials, they asked us to tag along with them and then do a round of the whole city, Lamka town, and then come back. And also they would evacuate people from the other communities and bring them to the camp.
Mm.
So we went out, and it was like a long ride. We could not step out because we did not have safety gears. We did not have a helmet or a bulletproof jacket.
Mhm.
So we remained inside our vehicle and did whatever little we could do. Because there were reports that gunshots were being fired, and
Mhm.
we were strictly told that we should not step out of the vehicle.
Yep.
But I mean, towards the end of the patrol, I mean, they had stopped at one junction where they started evacuating people from Meitei community, and I think there were around 60 to 70 people, and then more people were brought back, taken to the mini secretariat. So yeah, that's all that happened that day, and then from there we came back to our hotel. After coming back, since we were handicapped without internet, like how do we now send videos? So we were trying to figure out ways of getting internet connection, in one way or the other. If we could, send the videos through on a pen drive towards Mizoram border, maybe someone there could, then upload the videos. So we were trying to figure out ways, and there was a friend who stays close nearby near the hotel itself. So he asked us to that let's go, asked us to go to his place and also visit his family. So we went to his place, and it was already late by then. I think around 7 p.m. So he offered us dinner. By 8 p.m. we were done. We had our dinner, and it was a lovely meal, a home cooked meal after almost 3-4 days. So yeah, and we were just sitting and talking after having food. Everyone was hopeful that things will get back to normal, situation will calm down. And then friend, he told us that let's go to the rooftop. Let's see, you'll get a nice view from here. But as soon as we went up, like after only like for after a couple of minutes, we went up. We started hearing gunshots.
Okay.
So I figured that it was probably the army again. They were doing another patrol. So they were supposed to do multiple patrols in the day. If one convoy reaches, after about an hour, then another convoy moves out. So I think we figured that it was probably another patrol, and they were firing blanks just to disperse the crowd. Warning shots to asking people to stay indoors. And since situation gets more intense, more violent after after dark, so that was, probably they were anticipating something might happen. So our friend suggested that we should go back to a hotel and before the army reaches this locality. He suggested that we should keep our vehicle here and we should walk to our hotel, because it's like 5 to 10 minutes walk, so it wasn't too far. So as we started walking towards a hotel, we saw a lot of people coming out of their homes and walking with us. A lot of them were greeted us, asking where are we from, which media house. So the moment we said East Mojo, a lot of them recognized, and so by the time we reached the main road, where our hotel is located, I think we saw around 100, between 100 and 100 to 200 people.
Okay.
And the army had gotten quite near, like they were very close by, and they were firing gunshots, and no one was there on the main road. They were all in the lane by the main road. So we ran towards the hotel. We crossed the road. The army saw us. They couldn't recognize because it was dark, and they fired a couple of blanks. So we ran to inside the gate. The gate was already open, and they locked it the moment we went inside. And we decided to go upstairs on the rooftop to see what's happening. The moment we went up, as soon as we went up the rooftop, people, everyone who was there with us while we were, coming to a hotel, had now gathered on the road, on the main road. They have blocked the road. Since the army convoy was also evacuating people from a community and taking them to the mini secretariat, so the people were not allowing them to take the people, those who were evacuated, because a lot of people, around 50,000, I think, that was the roundabout figure that I was given. People from of the Kuki community were still stranded in Imphal, and none of them had reached here. So they were not sure of the government's intention, what would happen, what security do the people of the Kuki community have, and since no official
There's no assurance.
exactly, and no official statement has come out till then, so they were insecure, and they were skeptical about of the government's moves. So they were not allowing people of the Meitei community to be evacuated, since none of their people had reached home. And there's their argument is that there are only 10,000 people of the Meitei community in Churachandpur, but in Imphal there are around close to 50,000 people of the Kuki community who are living there, in different jobs and different walks of life, students, nurses, also a lot of government officials. So there was no communication regarding their security. So that was one of the concerns. So that is why
There was no network as well.
yeah. So that is why the people had gathered there, blocking the army to from taking.
One thing, could you still make calls or?
Yes, we were making calls, but
Okay.
I think the network was also jammed because it took multiple attempts to connect a phone
Yeah.
call.
Okay.
So I think if I was getting a call from Guwahati, in fact, my phone was not reachable for quite a long time. I think I was getting calls from my wife, but she could not get through. Then she called someone from the office because she got worried about after getting reports of what's happening. So she panicked and and I called her back after multiple attempts. I could get through and told her that there's nothing to worry about. I'm safe and all. So all that. So yes, we are on the rooftop, and that is when the people had gathered on the roof, on the road, and we saw another human chain. Again, all of them, most of them were women. So they started approaching towards the army.
Okay.
There were around 20 to 30 of them, and the army first fired warning shots, fired blanks. First it was 2-3 shots, and then there were 30 to 50 shots. After a point, when the army, when they started getting closer to the army convoy, the army opened fire. And at that moment, I think we first saw one person hit, being shot on his leg. He was dragged on the side of the street towards a hotel.
Okay.
And after a few seconds, 4 more people were shot. 2 of them fell right on the middle of the street, and the other 2, and again another one was brought towards a hotel, and the 2 who were shot were brought to our hotel, inside our hotel, and in the reception area. And another person was taken, another lady, in fact, was taken on the other side of the road. And we saw two of them fell. They moved for some time, but after a few seconds, they stopped moving. Within, I think, a couple of minutes, an ambulance arrived. First, it took the person who was on the other side of the road, the lady, and then one of our hotel managers took the two of the people who were inside the hotel, campus compound. So he took his vehicle and took them to the hospital, the district hospital, where we had gone the previous day. And again, the ambulance returned and took the other two who were on the middle of the road and took them on the road.
Total, how many people were
I
shot?
think we saw 5 people
Five
getting shot.
shot. Okay.
And after, I think, 45 minutes or about an hour, I get a call from the hospital that 4 of them had died.
Or those people that were shot
Yes.
right in front of you.
Yes. So it was very disturbing to see, all that.
So is this your first
Yeah.
time that seeing somebody get killed
Getting
just
killed,
right in
yeah.
front of your eyes?
Yes.
Is it your first time?
Yeah. I've seen videos and stuff. I've seen protests. I've been in, I've reported during protests, but I never saw someone being shot at
Front
and
of your
someone
eyes.
dying
Mm.
right in front of my eyes.
What is like you and Mukutta,
Yeah.
like
What goes through your
yeah,
mind?
what were you like? What were you discussing?
We actually couldn't come to terms that this really happened.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't it feel like reality. It felt like maybe we are hallucinating or something. It took a lot of time, for us to come to terms that people had died. Now, what is going to happen now?
Mm.
We could not sleep the whole night. I think with Mukunda, we both were up, and I just seated myself on one corner of in a chair on one corner of the room, and Mukunda was there on the bed. He was seated. That's all. We looked outside the window, kept talking what happened, talking about what happened and what's going to happen next. And we would then walk out of our room, go to the rooftop and see what's the situation like. I think the last I went up was around 3 a.m. So the people were still there,
Okay.
and the army was also there.
Okay.
So I think yes, after the fighting took place and all of them were taken to the hospital. So two, I think one woman and another, I think two women, they went to the army and negotiated with them that you cannot probably that's like what I heard from the locals the next day.
Mhm.
So the negotiation was done that they cannot evacuate the Meitei people and the army convoy can go, but without the people from the Meitei community, and they will not allow anyone to pass by. So that standoff, I think it continued till the last I saw was around 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m. They were still there, and when I was again up by 6 a.m., everyone was gone. The road was cleared. There was no one on the roads, and people who had woken up, I think they were already on the streets. We could see the blood spot.
Yeah.
The whole reception area. I mean, the housekeeping people were cleaning the blood. They were washing off the blood, in fact, in the reception area. And there's a stench
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
remains for a long, long time. So we could smell, feel the stench in the reception area, and the blood stain was still there on the road.
Mm.
So yes, that night I think I called Amit, our executive editor, at around 1 p.m. 1 a.m. So, and I told him that this and that has happened. 4 people have died, and it's confirmed.
Mm.
And we have videos of the firing.
Mm.
So he said that okay, we are not publishing the report right now, but you have to move out.
Mm.
I also spoke to our editor in chief, Karma Paljor. That is the same. Soon after the incident took place, so their first reaction that you guys should move out now.
Mm.
Stray bullet will not identify if
You're a
whether you're
list.
from a
Hmm.
press or
We are local
or a local.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think yes, we decided to move out the next morning, and since it was not safe to travel towards Bishnupur and Imphal,
Hmm.
and there were no flights available.
Yeah.
So we decided to travel by road, via Mizoram, then Kachar, Silchar, and yes, I think we
You
were
travel by roads, right?
yes. So
How
the
many hours did it?
we started, I think, at around 10 a.m. and reached Aizawl at around 12:30 p.m.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we had booked a hotel there, and stayed the night. And then again, next morning, we moved out at around 10 a.m. maybe,
Hmm.
and reached Silchar by 7 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all.
So what were your feelings during your journey back home? Like, was it a feeling of relief, or were you still worried about the people back there? How did you feel while coming back?
I don't know. Me and Mukunda, we kept discussing about what had happened and what's it going to.
I think it still was processing. I think.
Yeah, exactly. We were not being able to process like what we saw.
Huh.
Hmm.
In my mind kept rendering the whole thing, but it took a lot of time to come to terms with what we saw. So we kept discussing about what is it going to be now. Like, will the situation come back to normal, or is it going to get more violent now since people have died? And normally, what we see is after someone getting shot, the crowd disperses.
Hmm.
There we sees. I mean, we don't see anyone on the street, but in this instant, the people stood their ground. They did
Yeah.
not move away. They were there till I think till the morning, and the army had to step back.
Looks
So
like they were like ready to give their life.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think so. That's what got us thinking. So I was like I don't think the cookies will step back especially after this. And yes, in fact, by in the morning when we were about to move out, so they had already put up posters of one of the deceased who was a nurse, 33-year-old, and they were about to have a sit-in protest there in memory of the martyr, and they called her the first martyr. And so yeah, that kind of like gave us a brief idea of what is it going to be for the next few days.
Hmm.
And although the next day we kept getting kept in touch with our friends there in Churachandpur, so I think situation, there was no reports of violence, but there's and still is an uneasy calm. It's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
on the upper surface it's like normal, and the shops are being open for a certain duration, but then everyone is uncertain about what might happen.
Internet is banned till it's
Yes,
26th.
Till
internet is still
26th, yeah.
suspended. It has been extended for 5 more days now. So
it's almost about to be a month.
Month, yeah.
I think we were there
25
on,
days probably.
yeah,
Around
mobile
Around
internet
20,
was shut
25,
down
yeah.
on May 3rd.
Yeah.
Broadband was shut down on May 4th.
Just short of a week.
Mm.
So
So for everyone who is listening and then you have not heard, you have not seen all the visuals,
Yeah.
all the story that Mr. Kalyan has been explaining, you can find it on eastmojo.com.
Yeah.
Or
We'll
East
leave
Mojo
links in the
YouTube channel.
description for everyone to check out.
There's what the story that he has been saying. There are all the clips that's there, people getting shot, people forming human chain. You can just watch,
Yeah.
and you can see what's actually happened here. And also, yeah, you were supposed to tell me a story of your driver. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
we
So,
listen to
yeah,
that
that's-
story.
Young
That should be interesting.
an interesting story altogether. So basically, he's a Naga boy who lives in Imphal.
Okay.
And the day he picked us up from the airport was the first day of his job.
Oh.
He is 23-year-old,
Damn.
a kid
Okay.
basically, so who got stuck with the in the worst situation possible. Uh, I mean, he was not at all expecting, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, he was very cooperative. In fact,
Okay.
whenever I asked him what do you want to have for lunch or dinner, he said whatever you guys are having, I'll eat that. I mean, I could understand as a Naga, it's not easy to for example have parathas in the morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean,
is a
we,
look of
in
pot.
fact, for Northeasterns, so we are not used to that kind of diet.
Yeah.
We eat rice in the
Rice.
morning. So
Skipping bhat. Breakfast
Yeah,
bhat.
bhat.
Lunch bhat.
exactly.
Dinner is also
So
bhat.
he was stuck with us.
Oh,
Like, although luckily we were getting food, but no other supplies.
okay.
So it's just the food, that's all. If you know what I mean, other supplies
Yeah,
by
yeah.
other supplies.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
And it is very costly in Manipur. So although it has been legalized now,
Mm.
but in such situations, it's quite difficult. So yes, 23-year-old, first day of his job, gets stuck in a protest, sees people dying,
Man.
and then where it was like it was supposed to be a trip for like 3 to 4 days. He ended up driving for hundreds of kilometers,
Yeah.
and then going all the way to Silchar, and then he went to Imphal via Jiribam, I guess. Yeah.
That would make a nice resume for his next
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Overqualified.
And yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to say this, but he was saying that he was going to quit this job.
I
Bad
mean, yeah,
experience.
if your first day is like that, yeah, thoughts will come. But- and,
Oh my God.
also, one thing that you said, like your wife got worried. So when you're out on the field and doing stuff like this, daredevil stuff, so do you have like conflicting thoughts as a journalist and then as a husband and a family person as well?
The only thought that comes to my mind, especially during like what happened this time, was that my family should not know about this.
Oh.
They'll freak out and they'll freaking me out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's better the lesser they know, the better it is. So yes, in fact, she called me soon after the firing took place, and I just tried to find a like quiet corner.
Mhm.
And I told her that situation is normal. Yes, there are like she could hear the gunshots, so
Okay.
she got worried. Like, what's that noise? And I told her that these are cylinders going off.
Yeah.
Some locality has been burned down, so that's all. So I I had to keep all the details from
Yeah.
her. So that's all. I
Have you
mean,
told her now?
yeah, she got to find out the next day.
I mean, yeah, through the videos and everything is made public, man. I mean, you're supposed to see that. I mean,
So yeah, I can't mention Manipur anymore in front of her. So
PTSD. Okay.
so also see, since you were in Churachandpur and you were reporting from there, and you were there before the incident happened, right? And then now you are in Churachandpur, you are reporting from that place because you came to
Mm,
report from that
yeah.
place, and then it escalated and all
Yeah.
things like that. We were also getting like the East Mojo. We were also getting that. Oh, you are just reporting from East, like from Churachandpur. You're
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
one
yeah.
side and
One-sided stories.
things like that. Did you get any, like bad remarks personally or from anyone?
Yeah. Did you
from
have
that?
any
Yeah.
IRL
or
people-
anyone? Yeah.
People
Well,
telling you IRL instead of on the internet.
Or-
Has anybody yelled KukiMojo yet to you?
or anyone, like
not personally. I got a couple of messages,
Okay.
but more than that, I got a lot of praises for reporting from Churachandpur.
Okay.
Obviously from the people from the Kuki community. So more than threats or like hate messages, they were praises for
Okay.
like what I did.
Yeah.
But like, of course, it's my job, so I had to do it anyway. So
Mm.
Yeah.
and anyone would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Had he or she been in my
And
Yeah.
place.
it would been anyone, but only you were the one. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the other local media might be there, but from the state, but from outside media, I don't think they were.
See, all of them were handicapped because there was no
Yeah,
internet
and mostly they were
connectivity.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Imphal.
yeah.
People who have arrived
Mm.
later, they were stuck in
They
Imphal.
directly went to Imphal only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We were lucky
because of the
because
situation, they
we
could
went-
not travel towards Churachandpur.
Yes.
True.
So yeah, it's the same story. I think. I mean, our version looks different because we were
Stuck there.
present in Churachandpur.
And you were stuck there.
Exactly.
So,
He was at the right place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Man.
I mean, that's quite an experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if, in future, would you still like to go in
Of course.
certain kind of situation?
Of course, I would
think.
love to. In fact,
Okay.
I mean, that's my job because this is what I signed up for in the
Yeah.
first place. So yeah, but just not for the sake of adventure or
No,
anything.
yeah.
Just to be of some use so that I can bring some change and bring things,
Bring out
you know,
the truth.
bring out the
Yeah.
truth
What
at
you
least,
see
yeah,
here.
and try to calm situation down. Because see, any kind of, I mean, no common man would instigate any kind of violence.
No.
I or you or a like shopkeeper will not go and set a house on fire.
Yeah.
There are always miscreants involved, and people need to understand that.
Yeah.
So it is our job to differentiate between common people, those who are being affected,
Yeah.
and those who are involved.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, for me, if I'm asked, I will happily go anywhere, any place if such a situation arises.
And what would be your like wish for, like, Manipur, the state, for both the
Yeah.
communities they are fighting over, like, what would be your message if you had to give? You were there just few weeks backs, like you have met people, you have
Yeah.
friends from
Especially
both
having
the
talked to both the
communities.
sides. Yeah.
You have friends from both the communities. What would be your message?
See, my only message is that violence will not bring any answer, and it will not help any people. It will only worsen the situation.
True.
Like I've been saying, it's the common people who get hurt the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
So it is people like us, you, and you, me, and us, who will be affected. Those, and at the
Who are in
helm
the
of powers,
power.
at the
Yeah.
helm of
Yeah.
affairs.
Who are the drivers of the narrative?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Who are
So
pulling
they
the
are
strings.
only benefiting out of this, and we need to see the clear picture. We need to open our eyes, and now I think it's the onus is on the government that they should bring things on the table and start having discussions. It is only through discussions that situation can be brought back to normal. And it is high time. It's almost been a month that things have been violent. People have started losing jobs now.
Yeah.
Imagine like the tourism sector. What's happening? Hotels have been shut down for months.
Yeah,
There's
last
no one-
month there was Miss India was
Exactly.
Yeah.
done here only.
Exactly. People will now. And what about the daily wages?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have no earning. They have no place to go. No food to eat. So things like these, people, the common people need to understand things like these, and it is only through discussions that we can come to any conclusion or any
Yeah.
solution.
Mm.
So I think we should resort from we should not resort to any kind of violence or any kind of arson, or not get involved in any kind of hate spewing,
Yeah.
and rather
Especially online, man.
yeah, and rather put pressure on the government to
Exactly.
bring the situation back to normal. That's all I think. Yeah, and now it's up to the government. Now they should, since the army is doing their job, they're trying to evacuate people. A lot of people are being evacuated even today.
Mhm.
So everyone, if everyone can do their job the right way, why not the leaders? So I think they should bring everyone on the to the table and start discussing and find a solution at the earliest.
Yep.
All
And
right.
yes, I think that will be a wrap for today. I
Yeah,
think we
for
have
today,
heard
man.
like such a good stories, the experience that Mr. Kalyan had. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And maybe in the future, the more Daredevil you do, I think we'll also invite more
I just
stories.
did my job.
Awesome.
No daredevil stuff. This is just my job. That's all.
Okay, you're being humble now. Anyway,
Yes.
thank you, and I hope the listeners have enjoyed.
Yes, exactly. And we hope that all the situations all go back to normal, just like Kalyan said. So
I don't want to even say like my prayers are there with you, because my
Yeah.
prayers, I don't know if it will actually reach there, but I just want you people to just calm down,
Yeah.
and not just spew more hate online, because I've been seeing so much of fake profiles and things like
Narratives
putting out
driven,
their
yeah.
narrative like against to instigate more
Yes,
communal
yeah.
violence and things like that. So just stay away from all the shit that's going on, and don't spew hate online as well.
Exactly.
all
Thank you
we
so
can
much
hope
for
for.
coming, and
you.
we'll catch everyone back next week. Peace.
Peace out.